This episode of Chicago's Bravest Stories is brought to you by Sports and Ortho Physical Therapy. So, Steve, I understand you have a sports and ortho memory that you'd like to share.
I do. Just recently, I actually suffered an injury. It was a chronic injury from firefighting and paramedicing. I tore my shoulder and separated my AC joint right at the beginning of the pandemic.
How you feel right now?
I feel great.
Can you lift your hands over your shoulder?
I can do all of that. But what was crazy was at the time, they weren't doing shoulder surgeries. So I did not know what I was going to do until I was presented with the option of going to sports and ortho physical therapy.
So you theoretically could have been out for a long time.
I could have been out for a very long time, and I was told that the shoulder surgery I was presented with was going to keep me out a very long time as well.
So you would have automatically lost your spot
Yes.
and potentially be out for a long time. There'd be a loss of income as well for like overtime and what have you, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what kind of things did Dahlia have you do?
So Dahlia set me up with one of her therapists, Claire from England, and Claire beat me up for 3 months straight.
Well, you had it coming, Steve.
I did, but we did all kinds of stretches. I'll tell you what, I've had other injuries where I've went to other facilities outside of the job that I'm currently at, and they did not do the hands-on manipulation, the cupping, the stretching, the massages, the massage machine they were using on me, all sorts of stuff. Needling, Claire did some needling on me, and I'll tell you what, that needling, it was like, I can't explain it to you, but it definitely, like, I could instantly feel, it was instant gratification when she was doing the needling on me.
So how long did it take to get you back?
So I did 3 sessions a week for approximately 3 months, a little under 3 months, and I didn't need to have surgery. I rehabbed that shoulder back, and it was great. And on top of all of it, I had a thing going on at home where I couldn't be exposed to the virus or multiple people because of the virus, and Dahlia had gone out of her way to schedule me so that I would not have those experiences, and I could do a lot of the rehab by myself with Claire. And Dahlia went above and beyond to accommodate me like she does, and she goes above and beyond for all of her clients. And I'm truly grateful to her and Sports and Ortho Physical Therapy.
Well, there you have it. Living testimony by our own Chicago's Bravest Story, Steve. Sports and Ortho, you can look them up on sportsandortho.net.
I mean, they got a location everywhere, so.
For all you up north, Edison Park for sure, Mount Greenwood for you south.
Brand new Oak Lawn, I believe.
So sportsandortho.net.
Engine 1, Engine 4, Truck 2, Truck 10, Ambulance 82, Battalion 2, Fire 1020 North Main, help is on the way.
Here we are.
Hold on.
Well, we just welcome back to Chicago's Bravest Stories.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Chicago's Bravest Stories. We are fortunate enough to be sitting here with Jason Demas, Battalion Chief, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Battalion Chief of a fire department.
Yes.
Up to you. Yeah, name has come up many times. I'm super happy we're finally getting a chance to sit down with you, sir. We've got a lot of background, a lot of area covers. So,
Oh boy.
yeah,
We actually did some homework right before you got here.
yeah, yeah.
This is scary.
You're getting fired. That's why the target's right behind you. So,
It's not the first time that there's been a target on my back.
I was just saying that they set you up. That someone set you up. You know what? In all honesty, I say we just start this thing off like we normally do. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself,
Sure.
like coming up through the fire service, growing up? Where'd you grow up?
All right, well, I work for the city of Aurora.
Okay.
I've been there 25 years. I'm in my 25th year now. I grew up in the city, north side, 2400 north between Fullerton and Montana, Lincoln Park area.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Before it was Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
Before it was a neighborhood. Did most of until about freshman year, and then did some moving around. Ended up in the burbs in North Lake.
Okay.
My dad's a retired CPD guy, so we moved out there, and he bought a video store, and the firemen would come in and get movies every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And for the younger viewers or listeners out there, there's were these tape things we had to put in these machines to watch movies. And on Tuesdays, the new releases would come out. And I would hide the new releases for the guys at the firehouse so they'd get them.
Oh, you.
Yeah, I know.
That's old school fireman moves too, right?
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, right? So when I got old enough, I went paid on call with North Lake.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I started, and didn't really know much about it. Scared to death. Had my first call. We went to the buildings. You can see it off of 290.
Is that the retirement home?
Yeah, the retirement home.
Jesus.
The Concord.
Right? The Concord, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first call, and I didn't know that when the engine stopped that you should wait for the guy in front to get out. So I got out, and the engine started to drive away a few feet, and I'm like, wait. So and then
I work here too.
I work here. Yeah. Don't leave me, please. Don't leave me. Moved out to the burbs. I did about 3.5 years at North Lake, and then moved out west. Went to paramedic school at CDH.
Okay.
Got on part-time at Winfield for a couple of years, and went on the contract to West Chicago.
Okay.
Spent a couple of years at West Chicago. Some great people there. One of my greatest mentors came from there, Hugh Stott, and kind of showed me the way.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, right now Hugh's fighting some stuff, and prayers out to him and his family. But
are they running anything for him, or?
Yeah, he has a GoFundMe page.
Okay, we'll have to take a look at that later. We'll try and get that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'll fill you guys in and off air. But then tested for.
What was it about you that helped you out?
Everything. He was kind of like the first. So let me go back a few steps. So my first fire in North Lake was at Manheim and Fullerton. There was a hotel there.
Yep.
2-story hotel.
Unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of them, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, if I don't make a Manheim hotel joke once a day, it's a short day at the fire.
Yeah, because there was a trucking service across the street to the south, but on the north was a 2-story, I don't know, Motel 6. I can't remember now. It was a long time ago, but the real firemen were out in Melrose on a job, so we come back with our little pagers and the blue lights, and we get on the truck, and Lieutenant McBride, God rest his soul, he's gone now, but he goes, "Who's ready to go?" Guess I am.
Yeah.
So, all right, what I want you to do is go up those stairs, make a left turn down the hallway, and open up that door for Stone Park. Okay. Well, my only experience was 0, so I get to the door, and I'm like, what do I do? Take off my gloves, put on my face piece, open the door, it's full of smoke. Before I put my helmet back on, put my gloves back on, I went into the hallway and lost my helmet, lost my gloves by myself, and got lost in a hallway, one-door hallway. So I crawl all the way down this hallway. No, it's just smoke. Now I can look back. It wasn't hot or anything. It was just a mattress fire in one of the rooms. Door was closed. The hallway was full of smoke.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, at that moment, it's bad enough.
And if that's your first experience, that's pretty horrible.
In a goddamn hotel, or motel.
A motel, right? Yeah, absolutely. So I get to the end of the hallway, and I got to open the door, and I'm not smart enough to hit the panic bar, so I break the glass in the door, and I fall out, right?
Come on.
Stone Park's engine leading out up the back stairs. The lieutenant looks, or the pipeman looks, and he goes, what the F are you doing down there? And I go, I don't even know.
Where am I?
I'm just glad to be out here.
Are you Jesus?
Exactly. So that started me going to school.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you were like, all right, this ain't it.
I got to learn everything I can about a job that can kill me.
Yeah.
That's really what really set it home. And after I left,
obviously we're going to talk about it later, but obviously training has played a major factor in what you're doing these days now.
Huge factor. It's the only way that we can marry education and experience together. They got to complement each other. So I moved out to Wheaton, got on West Chicago, and Hugh was that guy, right? He was bigger than life, and had connections in Chicago, FDNY, trained with some names, and I don't want to start dropping names, but there's some bigger names in FDNY that was teaching at U of I with him, and he ran the smoke divers program, and so.
And that started out there, right? Or
Well, Smoke Diver started at IFSI with.
Did it?
Yeah,
Okay.
with Ricky Colomé and JP and Richie Valena, and there's a whole bunch of guys that started that. And so Hugh was at the time was the lead.
Okay.
So I got to work with him, and he says we should go down there. So I started that, and that was in '94. I think I took my first Smoke Divers class. And,
Okay.
I've been down to U of I before that in '91 or '92. I was down there taking single family class.
Yeah.
Met another mentor there, and so I just started getting. I was very fortunate early on to get really around some strong.
And you were,
people.
and Winfield was a contract?
No, it was part time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Winfield was part time. West Chicago was a contract.
And where was Hugh at? Was he
West Chicago full time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a career at West Chicago.
I got you. So was this guy one of your officers when you walked in, or he was just
He was
just
actually
kind of
my
like
partner
the
on the AMBO
Oh,
because
come on.
at the time it was just 1-1.
Okay.
And then they moved to 2 contracts. But while I was there, but two medics. But at first I rode the ambulance with them.
Okay. So you guys got to know each other pretty well.
Yeah, I traveled to New York a couple times, rode out there with guys, and met a lot. It just I can't tell you how fortunate of a career that I've been able to have and be around. It's humbling. I mean, and it's like that's like when you asked me to come here. When you asked me to come here, I don't know really what to speak to because
just so everyone knows. I mean, and obviously this is going to get a lot deeper, but just so everyone knows, like every exchange I've had with Jason, I can call him Jay. But
yes, Corey,
that's kind of your thing.
That's my thing. I short everything.
Yeah.
But every conversation we've had up to this point has just been, I don't know what you want. Like, is there someone else going to be there? Like, what do you want from me? And like, this guy's just such a humble guy that like you wouldn't even think that he's done anything, let alone what we're going to get into here. But can I hate to backtrack you a little bit more, but like what kind of got you into the fire service even in the first place? What was
Johnny and Roy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, man.
Johnny and Roy kid. My buddies and I would be running down Montana Street on our bikes or Lincoln, and
did your dad want you to go to CPD? Did he ever encourage you to follow in his footsteps?
Opposite. He was in the riots.
Okay.
So he was worked in the. I'm not sure what the districts are, but I think he was in the 18th, and also worked.
18th is downtown.
Yeah, I think it. And then the other one was up north on.
Isn't it 16 up by
it does,
Jefferson Park?
begins with a W, whatever street. It's a W that it used to be a patrolman, like walk the streets.
Like walking a beat?
Walking a beat, yeah. So it was a little bit the opposite.
Huh.
Yeah. A fireman saved his life during the riots. He would tell the story where they'd have to go up into
which year the riots?
68.
The Democratic?
National Convention, yeah. He got on in 64, I think. And then he had to go up in the greens for something. And one of the residents opened up the hatch and threw a Molotov into the elevator. But a truck guy there, engine guy, I don't know, had a pump can.
Shit.
And he always told the story about how that fireman saved his life, him and his partner's lives. And I don't know if the story gets
Murky.
it gets murky, but so that kind of always sat in the back of my head. But then Johnny and Roy, I thought they went everywhere. They had mountains, they had oceans, they had commercial, they had ghetto. I mean, it was just great all the way around. So so we play chips and we play, Johnny and Roy stuff. And then there's a building sitting on the corner of Montana, just west of Lincoln. It's an apartment complex now. There was under construction, and we might have been playing a little bit of Johnny and Roy in there. And someone says, "Your old man's coming. We'll take that bucket of water and put it out." Well, it happened to be turpentine.
No.
Nothing happened. It was all concrete. There was nobody got hurt, but it was like that was my first experience with that. And
that was your first fire.
First fire. Literally first. It came out running out. Hey, someone should call somebody. That thing's on fire. So I guess Johnny and Roy would be why I got into it. And then more when I got older, I've always wanted to do it. And then the guys at North Lake were great to me. Joey Johnson, Paul Feldman's now the chief there. He was great.
Did you go to a formal academy when you came on?
Aurora, we have our own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there we didn't.
But before that,
Nope.
you didn't go to the one with North Lake. You didn't go to.
Nope. No, It was all on it. Back then it was just you took your firefighter 1. So I still have one of those. I'm old enough to have just it says firefighter 1 on it, and then you took 2, and then you took your 3 in stages. Like you could take it in, every class at a time. So if you took the test and you failed, you can go back and just take that one section. So it was a little different back then.
I'll tell you, up until a couple of years ago, I think I still had guys with the highest level that they had was firefighter one.
Hey, Corey, it's not easy to get anymore.
It's
Just so
not.
you know.
I know. It's not nothing. That's for sure. It's like trying to get certified in like an antique car. You know.
That's right. That's right.
But
You just
I
call
gotta
it
tell
an
you,
antique?
well,
Well, whatever.
it'll get better. Just wait. So, but yeah, no, I gotta say, like, as much as I'm not a big guy with like the firefighter shows, there's one other one that was relatively recent that I did like, but like most of them I don't like, but like that's the one show that like whenever it comes on, I'm like I'll watch episode.
Yeah.
Well, because you never know, like they're gonna get into something crazy,
Dude, and it was always
know,
like,
like-
I want to say the last one that they were like in a mountain using like a Stokes basket to pull someone out. They're
Yeah.
they're calling Rampart with the phone. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on?
And if you think about their EMS treatment back then, their treatment for a cardiac arrest was just keep pumping bicarb.
Oh,
They would pop.
was it?
That's all
Oh,
they
yeah,
did.
with the-
They would
yeah.
pop those, and they
And how many
just
medics
keep going bicarb.
How many old medics do that too? Like Johnny and Roy, and they
Right,
they pop
right.
the two
They're still,
caps.
they're still making this joke.
Well, now
they
it's-
haven't seen the show, and they're still
Now
making
it's
the
like
joke.
double Narcan.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's Vince's.
Yeah, double Narcan. Yep.
No shit. So okay, so after Winfield was it,
Yeah, Winfield, West Chicago. Yep.
and then so after that, then where'd you land? Was that when you got?
Yeah, in '97 I got on Aurora.
Okay.
Okay,
And so you had just been tested around and
Tested
you were
everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. Test. I probably took
Yeah.
over 100 tests. I started testing when I turned. I was actually 20, going on to 21. I tested for Lyle, and ended up, because those lists back then nobody was hiring. Right. It was that time. It's in that cycle. Right.
Yeah.
So, 300, 400 people show up for one job, or no job. And trying to make the list. And so it went on for a while. Tested consortiums, and then at some point I said, you know what, I'm not going to test anymore for smaller departments. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to go somewhere where I'm going to see some stuff, do some stuff. And
Right.
so then it was Rockford, Aurora, Joliet. That never came up. She took Chicago's test in '95. I made the qualified list because of the Social Security number deal.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it started at 6, I think, in that year. Now my last one's 5. So there's,
Well, it's sick that you had like qualified, well qualified.
Yes.
It was
Nonsense.
It was nonsense. Yeah.
it was, and we had to had to answer questions to that stupid fuel system. I took the test at the United Center, and you're like, you turn this lever, it turns into diesel. You turn these 2 levers, it turns into unleaded. And it was like you had to. Yeah, it was a joke. It was 34,000, I think, took that test.
What was your number?
Oh, I can't remember now, but I was in the qualified. I never made the well qualified. So
Yeah.
way down there.
I think the next test that came up, not to date you, but I think the next test that came up for the city after that was not my test, but the test that I took for the city.
Well, I think
I think I was like 25. Like it was like 10, 15 years later.
If I recall correctly, the 95 test, there was some controversy over that test for sure. The 95 one.
Just that one, huh?
Well, there's controversy in all the tests, but this one in particular.
So you get on to Aurora. Is there? You were not a medic at that time, right?
I was.
Oh, you were.
I went
Okay.
to CDH.
Oh yeah, you said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, graduated from there. That's what got me on the contract.
Gotcha.
And
When you got to Aurora, did you have to be a paramedic to be there? Or?
no, they gave you points.
Okay.
So still today, it's not. You don't need to be a paramedic.
I was gonna say, I thought Chuck was actually saying that
Yeah,
like,
you don't-
and you guys require, or you guys send guys like
We
what
do
was
if
it, once a
if
year.
it falls whatever number that number is that it falls below. By contract, they send 2.
Yeah.
I think it might even be they send 2 either way every year. But you can give your card up if you use your points. I believe now it's 8 years.
Uh-huh.
If you don't use any points, you can give it up tomorrow.
Okay.
And then if you go voluntarily, you can give it up in 4 years.
Huh.
So you can be a medic for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Had you known anything about Aurora before you got over
Not
there?
a thing.
Really?
I mean, 0.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing because a friend of mine goes, "Hey, let's go to the Fox Valley Mall and get some shoes." I'm like, "Where's Fox Valley Mall?"
Right.
I mean, growing up, I thought that Harlem Avenue was like the end of the world.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm even farther out there where in North Lake, I'm like, oh, 290's got to be the end of the world. And then next thing you know, they threw this other road in there, 355. Now I'm out by like some Route 47. It's even, so the world doesn't end.
People used to joke with me all the time when I moved out to the suburbs. People used to joke with me about like, they're like, why are you so crazy about locking your door all the time? I'm like, you people don't lock your doors out here? They're like, no, just keep it open. I'm like, what, you keep it like unlocked? And they're like, no, we keep it wide open. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, who does that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so you get on over there and obviously you get a decent enough number to get hired. How'd you
Yeah, it was number 32. All right. So I'm going to give a shout out to Tony Balin, Lieutenant Balin. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah.
He was at West Chicago with me at the time, and he was covering me for the test that day. So I'm going to give him a shout out because I'm in Aurora because of him, because he was covering for me, and I called him up, and I'm like, hey, Tone, it's long going. Aurora did their own physical agility at the time, and it was just taking forever, like long day. We had to do the aerial climb, and there was just a line all the way around the block. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This ain't going to be good. I'm coming back. Don't worry about it. He's like, stay. You got to get on the job. You got to get on the job. So he
pushed you.
He pushed me and told me to stay. I'll cover you. I'll call the wife, blah, blah, blah. And so shout out to Tony, because I would have left there and walked away, and who knows where this would have ended up,
Yeah.
So shout out to, I think
he's out by Midway right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I can't remember where he's at. I just saw him the other day.
Oh, good. If you see him, tell him I said hi, please.
I know Tony very well. We worked together for the first time at Children's, which I think he's one of the longest employees there in the emergency room. He's been there forever. He's the best.
He is the best, man. Great guy. And if you see him, please tell him hello.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Things got weird. I remember there were people that I went to medic school, like going for tests, where like I'd be like talking to a handful of guys, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this, you're gonna take this, and like I remember there were guys that would like go black on me, where like would not answer anything, like just go radio silent and not share at all. And I was like, what's this guy's deal? And they would like not talk about it. I'm like, what a dick. Like, I mean, absolutely. Listen, if it's between me and you, and like if it's one of us, I'm happy, or at least at the time I was. But like I'm happy, but like, dude, like don't.
It's a dog world in the testing.
So.
You know,
I don't know. I was very surprised by some of the people that would.
Yeah, one of my firemen, he refers this as the greatest competition you'll ever be in.
Right.
From the time you start, and it's Garrett Orris. He's on my shift, and just solid guys. Our union president, and we got new guys starting, and he's like, "You tell them that this is the greatest competition they'll ever be in." And he's right. It's the whole way through, right? I mean, you're in it.
Yeah, we're gonna get the competition soon too.
Oh,
so
Here we go.
So you're getting in Aurora. You really have no background in the town, and talking about union president. I mean, did you, when you started, like Aurora, we've talked about them a couple of times before, or Ed mentioned them a couple of times before, like Aurora, pretty badass union back then, right?
Well, yeah, they're a charter member. They're Local 99, so they've been around for a while. They they struck before Chicago did. Yeah, and they kind of pushed that movement. I think it was some departments downstate, and then Aurora, and then Chicago, and very strong union when we came on. It's still a strong union today. It's very. The president and the vice president are doing a great job for the troops. We're not in it as my rank.
Okay.
We have our own.
You're an
union.
exempt rank in your position now, right?
I am, but we're also covered by a contract. So we're our bargaining unit. It's the Aurora Fire Officers Association, which runs from captain to assistant chief. And then I'm the president.
Wow.
I'm the president of the.
Well, that's kind of a unique thing for you guys, right? Because in most departments, you get to that exempt rank, like you're out.
Right. So
because you're not. I mean, technically, you're not exempt rank. Like we
still have we fall under the Police and Fire Commission
or whatever,
and all that, But it's not the exempt rank where it's you're at will type deal. Right. You're still protected. To some degree.
Yeah. So you're a union without being affiliated, I guess. Yes. Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're considered a bargaining unit. The charter signed through the state and all that other stuff. Some things that are missing and we're working on, which is grievance procedures and some other stuff that we'd like to see as we move forward. The old guys, like the old guys, I guess the seasoned guys really started this and put us on the right track with the officer stuff, Part of the strike for Aurora was the captains in the union. That was one of the reasons for it. And if you read the Fiery Struggle, the book, it goes through, it goes through all the process of why that was, but it was the captains and they got them back in. And then a couple contracts later, they lost them again. So there was a while that there was no coverage for captains, and we didn't go to a battalion chief system until 2000, right around 2000, maybe 2000, somewhere in there. We were one chief ran the whole city.
Okay, yeah,
one.
That's how most departments are, I think.
Yeah,
right?
The shift commander ran that whole city. But you're talking, back then when I got hired, it was about, it could be off on the numbers, but we'll say 140,000 people, and we're well over 200-something thousand.
Well,
now.
when you came on, how many stations were there?
Same as we have now.
Which is what's
9 physical buildings.
Okay,
so we have 9 physical buildings with 9 engines, 3 trucks, and 7 ambulances.
So that's a pretty big department.
So I'm the shift commander on the black shift, and there's 60. We're fully staffed. I believe it's 67 rostered every day.
Okay.
So, and then I think we're down at 64 right now, but we got some people in the academy, and that's always a shifting number.
Wow.
You got to take Kelly days out, or what you guys call daily days, and take out PT and city time, and that drops those numbers down. But I believe it's around 67 is full.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big town. That's a lot of responsibility for you, pal.
So
Yeah,
in
good
97,
guys, bro. I mean, that's what it comes down to is good firemen, man. You know?
So in 97, you get on with Aurora, right?
Yep.
And you had a like probationary period, a year?
A year.
Okay. And did you get your first fire with Aurora within that year? Or
We had a busy. I think if I remember the count, that's a long time ago. I want to say between 12 and 14 that first year.
Okay.
It was kind of cool because you came to work like we're going to work. Like you
Yeah.
felt like you're gonna, and you might not, but you felt like it every day. And there were some great guys there, like they're retired now, like Eddie Orris, old timer, Tom Wagner. I mean, I think about these guys, Stevie Orris. And I'm gonna miss people, and I don't want to, but these old
were those
guys,
the guys who brought you up?
yeah, and they were just old, tough guys. I remember in the academy that we broke the coffee pot, the bun coffee pot, the glass.
Oh yeah.
So the training chief's like, hey, go across the hall, and there's a catwalk that we got to go across to get to you go up the stairs, and that's the other side of the central station. And now I know what they did, but back then I was terrified. Right, go take this coffee pot over there, and you tell them to give you a new one. I'm like, I don't want to go over there. So I walk over there, and I walk up to the door really lightly, and it's like, and that door flew open, and Big Tom Wagner was there, and he stood about 6'4", and he's like, "What do you want? Take this fucking coffee pot and get on the other side of it." I'm like, "Yes, sir, yes." And they were but they were bigger than life as you came on. They were seasoned guys, and they, and they didn't like the new guys. They didn't like us because because we're new. And
Right.
It's not they didn't like you. It's just you were new.
Oh, they were playing the game.
And now I know the game they were playing, but it put you in the right frame of mind, and you knew where you were. And those guys were, my lieutenant, I came out was Ray Pfeiffer, and just calm, good, cool guy, and it was just they were different. They were a different breed back then, and you got to learn a lot from them just to watch. You just watch them and how they did stuff. And,
I was actually curious about that because I know the warden. Chuck Niemeyer had painted a pretty rough picture of you guys' academy. How's the academy going through?
Okay. Well, when we went through, it was 14 weeks, and it wasn't what it is today. There's a bunch of us that, I shouldn't say us. There's a bunch of people that did help facilitate it to be to what it is today.
Yeah.
So there's 14 weeks. I mean, we had, it's a big city, so it was like, here's we're going to do bedding day. So
yeah,
get in line, you get your bedding, and they're like, you better bring this back when you retire. It's like, yes, sir. And so it was structured, but it wasn't what it is today. Today we've, over the last 20 years, we've turned it into a pretty, I want to say, I'm proud of the guys that do it. It's pretty kick ass. It's hands on, all hands on. It's, they do week one. They just finished this week. They did pretty much smoke divers is what they get.
Wow.
They get,
and even the 14-week mark. I mean, I feel like standard academies, was it like 9 weeks or something?
Yeah,
what do you guys
that
do
was
then?
ours 14, but
Depends.
Fire academy?
Yeah. Well, it's 3 months. It's 3 months in EMS, and then another 3 months fire at the Quinn.
Oh, okay.
So
that's probably maybe
it's
a little bit less.
It's a long.
Yeah, so now I think it's 11 weeks. We're going to put FSVO in there, and they're going to put ops in there now just to meet some requirements. But they get a couple weeks of engine, they get a couple weeks of truck. It's all the Aurora way. It's tough, and we lose people out of our academy. Our chief is very adamant. He comes down and tells them, if you don't work for that training chief in there, you don't work here, basically. And
wow, so he empowers you guys to make sure it gets done.
Yeah, he comes down. There's nowhere to duck here. We get 12 guys on a fire until we upgrade it to a work in response, and then it gets us a few more. But you got 12 people showing up to go to work, and there's nowhere to hide behind a hydrant or take a duck behind a car. It's just you're going to work, and that's the one thing about Aurora is we work. When we get it, we work.
And there's no shortage of it either.
Yeah, I know that there's stories out there that we're burning the tires off vehicles, but we're doing okay. We're not the 1970s Bronx, okay?
Well,
I'm saying, but we're working. We're doing some
well,
good work.
Yeah, I guess I meant like when there is work. Like when there is work, there's
It's work.
12 guys is not a lot of guys on a full structure fire
Right.
that you're trying to get going.
Right. And so we've been busy the last couple of weeks. We've had some good work. So guys, troops are doing good.
When you start and your probation is over, do you get assigned an apparatus? Or did you guys have ambulances in '97?
Yeah, we had we had
ALS
at the time
back then?
6. Yeah, 6. We had 6 ambulances when I got hired. Medic 7 just went up in 2017. So how it works is you go through the academy, you do all the training, you come out of the academy, and you have a time frame to complete what we call a practical. And it's a test. It's an all-day test. So. And the guys you get assigned to a truck and engine house. Usually, now you still got to relieve. You know, if you're low man, you're going. They try to keep you in house, but there's times you'll be moving. But you'll get tested on location, function, and application of everything on that engine. That'll be your morning, so they can ask you anything. You got to pull all the finish loads. You got to pull all the cross lays. You got to pump multiple lines. And then you go to lunch and you do a RIT drill. And then after lunch, you do the truck location, function, application. You need to pass that with a 90% or better. If you get to a point any time in that day where you're going to fall below 90, they stop the day. You're done for the day.
Yeah.
And then you
just keep going.
You get 3 tries.
Oh, 3 tries?
Third try, you're gone. And in the way it's worded is you may have up to 3 tries. So it's not a guarantee you'll get 3. If you're trying and you're working hard and you're doing the things right, the guys are going to help you. And the guys on the shift are remarkable because they're the ones that really put the rubber to the road when they come out of the academy. Like if you're the truck officer, Corey, and Vince, you're the engine officer, you're going to work. Your troops are going to work with those new guys to get those specific things done. And it's a pretty cool process. And then once you're done with that, at the end of that day, probably letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but you get floured and watered. It's a tradition. We have to do a run.
If you're lucky enough.
If you're lucky enough,
Right.
Because if it takes you 2 or 3 times, you're probably not going to get it. And that's some big part of, coming of age type thing. So at the end of the day, after all that testing, you got to come down to our headquarters and they do what they call the run. It's full turnout, on air, 2.5 high-rise pack, up 2 flights of stairs, across the catwalk, down 2 flights of stairs. And you got to do that 4 times in 3.5 minutes. If you fail that, you fail the day.
Are you in boots or gym shoes?
You're in turnout boots. You're fully turned out. Yeah, fully turned out.
3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes. Yeah, I'm surprised Chuck didn't tell you that he holds the record or something.
Oh,
no?
God.
He failed to mention that.
Yeah. I'll tell you. Well, you didn't stop him from mentioning anything else, though.
Yeah, exactly. I love that guy. He's a good dude.
And he loves you, too. He does.
I do. He's a good man.
Well, your name has come up several times with different guests. It came up with Chuck, obviously, and it came up with Brian Kalaga. And there was somebody else mentioned him.
I kind of remember. I'll have to double check. I thought it was maybe. Did you know Jim Stedman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it was like an early one, and
so
I got to remember.
Yeah, we were very
out.
excited when we heard that you actually agreed to come on. We don't know what dirt somebody has on you to to force you here, but because your name had come up several times, Corey made some phone calls, made it happen, got those compromising pictures of you, and
I can't believe how big you blew them up to be either. It's kind of disturbing. They're poster size.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice. Listen. Photoshop is not a. So when you're going through the academy, you personally, when you were going through, what was there? Did they hammer you at the end, or did they do anything when you were going through?
As far as like getting messed with them?
Yeah,
sure. So when we came on, the academy was different. Officers had to teach it. They were forced to teach it. So So lieutenant of engine, whatever, would have to get assigned to the training day that day, and he would teach you. So
I'll tell you, not a terrible move.
It's not a bad move. You're
as long as you're not the lieutenant.
Right, as long as you're not the lieutenant, it's a great move. Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so welcome back. We wanted to let everybody know that this episode of Chicago's Bravest Stories is brought to you by Rescue One CBD. You've heard us talk about it on a good amount of our episodes. If you enter the code Bravest, you'll get 25% off. This is available at omnianaturals.com. And like always, it is 0.00% THC, non-detectable. And they stand by their percentage of THC so much that they'll give you a QR code that you can scan, and you can actually see the lab results for that individual bottle that you buy. It's American-grown organic hemp. And like I said, we get all the benefits of CBD oil. I use it. I can't say enough about this product. The fact that now we get the benefits of CBD oil that is 0.00% THC free. We're going to give one to our guest here and see what it does for him, because I know that you definitely, we're going to get into some of your background, but you definitely wind up with some muscle soreness and stuff like that. And we're going to try to help you out with Rescue One CBD. Vince. Yeah, it's a teaser for what's coming up.
I actually had my wife was having a issue with her back last week or so, and I actually just had the bottle that we got here, because I mean I definitely wouldn't pay for it, but if no, but I brought it home and she used on her back, and again she was she was super impressed with it.
Is that the one that you were rubbing on your forehead?
That was that one. So that's the most action I get these days is the roll on between my forehead but she was going at her lower back, like right by her hip area, and my wife is, just as a general rule, very much against any type of like drug or alcohol, whatever usage. And like, it was like pulling teeth to get her in there. And once she started using it, she was blown away. And I actually ended up having to make an order later on. So we'll see what I can get kicked off. I mean,
the last time I had to use it was on my back too, and it really helped.
It was like icy hot. It's awesome. It was like an aggressive icy hot, which was awesome.
Yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah.
So Rescue One CBD. CBD. And look how great you feel.
Look, I feel incredible. Hey, look at me.
You can go to omnianaturals.com and enter the code Bravest for 25% off. You may have an engine officer who's a great engine officer, but he may not be that good of a teacher. In theory, you want the guy that
he's good at this job and he'll do it.
Right, but for him to be able to translate that information that he knows in his head, he may not be able to put it in a way that his guys are going to be learning.
Right. True.
So in theory, it's a great idea.
Yeah, and there was some, like you said, there's some really good officers that taught you a lot of good stuff, and then there was officers that I remember one officer made us do round robin reading with the IRFSTA book.
Oh boy!
So I mean, it's every spectrum of that, right? And so that as we came up, a few of us, Glenn and Steve and Mac, and there's guys like, we need to make some adjustments and see if we can make this place better. And I'm a big advocate. If you see something needs to be fixed, it's easy to sit at a kitchen table and go, well, this is the problem. Well, why don't we take a look at it and see if we can make a solution to making it better? Not all of them are going to happen, but you got to be in the game, I think, and really, if you're going to make change for the positive, you got to get buy-in, you got to get people, and we were able to do that. And the academy today, the guys that teach the academy, I couldn't say enough about their credibility, the passion that they have for Aurora. And I know there's a lot of rumors out there about what Aurora is, and some were told by Aurora guys, and but you're going to earn your keep, and when you get there, it's an accomplishment. It really is. And I felt that I was so proud to graduate the academy and become a Aurora fireman. It was like just everything to me, and it's been a great career and a great department that is taking care of me and provided for my family, and I got to do some really cool shit.
Yeah. I got to tell you, like after we got done talking to Chuck, like, and I'm not a guy, I'm very happy with where I'm at. I love my department. I love it so much that I actually moved to the town I work in now. But it's not often that I get like, oh man, I wish I worked for Houston or whatever. But like, I'll tell you, I got done talking to Chuck, and I'm like, God damn, does Aurora sound like a badass place to work? Like, these guys are they're motivated. They've got pride in their job. And like it was incredible talking to a guy like him, and I'm getting the same vibe off you for sure. It's
the culture there, and the climate it's awesome, because we have a lot of great traditions, and we got things in these young kids today. I love them. That's why I stay involved in the academy, because it keeps you young and it keeps you know what's going on, and it gives you a rebirth every academy. It's just great, and to be able to pass that passion that Hugh and Ricky and Bobby and Ray and all these guys that I came up under gave me, to pass that along just a little bit. I can't even carry some of those guys' boots, right? But these guys, at least if you give something back to make them feel that same pride, they're gonna do a good job for you. They're gonna go that extra extra few feet. They're gonna make that corner if you can, and we'll talk about that on other calls that I've had corner work. But it's just that little bit's going to push a little bit farther to make a better firefighter for the citizens, and that's really that's what we're there for, right? And we're there for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and these guys buy into that, and that's our mission, that's our values. It's kind of cool. It's a really cool place to work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you're going through, you get anything notable up through probation that you can think of?
What was your first fire in Aurora when you got there, and like, what was your position, and what mistakes did you definitely make at your first fire?
Oh, I don't know if I can remember my first one. It's been a long time ago.
Well, give us one of the memorable ones during your probation.
Yeah, there had to have been one that kind of sticks out where you're like, oh God, I fucked up. No, like, I mean, being a fireman, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one 2.5-story frame going, and
in town?
Yeah, in town. We don't go out of town. Very rarely do we go.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
I mean, we'll send an engine or a truck if you need us, but we'll go to North Aurora. We'll go to Sugar Grove, Auto 8 on a truck, but very rarely do we go. Like,
you guys work really well in Naperville too, I know.
Yeah, the line at the 38th parallel, some they call it, 59. No, Naperville, good people.
Yeah,
a lot of good guys over there. They come over and help us out, and we've gone over there. It's good. Just little ball busting.
Oh yeah, well, that's fair.
It's
that's
fair, right?
You know.
So we had a 2.5-story frame going, and the roving captain was on engine 1, and he ended up being our chief. And we get to a house. He's rolling out the first floor porch area, and he wanted the 2.5 off the rear, and I didn't really hear what he wanted, so I grabbed the 1 3/4 cross lay, and yeah, that didn't go over well. That didn't go over really well, and then there was a little discussion at the tailboard, and who do you think you are? Why do you think you know? And
during?
No, after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after. No, they got the 2.5.
It was
this guy wasn't going to let it go.
It was a tailboard talk after, and the captain, it was Chief Oker at the time. It was Captain Oker at the time, and he was one of those guys that didn't yell, didn't talk a lot. He was a Navy SEAL, and his octave never changed. I don't know if you ever worked for anybody like that, but his tone never changed. He never yelled. It didn't matter what was going on. The world could be coming down around him, and he'd be same tone. I think there's actually a picture of him somewhere in the science and history of recovering one of the Apollo capsules. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, he was a Navy SEAL back in the day, and it was he's just a cool guy, and he wouldn't talk much. He'd sit in the recliners, and you ask him a question, Cap, hey, what is this, Chief? And he'd talk to you, and then if you really wanted to talk to him, you'd run with him.
Oh, no kidding.
He ran, and he would talk a little bit more, so you'd get out and work out with him a little bit and run, and you ask questions. And I used to always be enamored about his military background, and all that stuff. But so that's where I messed up, and there's a lot more. Man, I messed up so many times. There's so many messes up.
I mean, listen,
and you're gung ho, and you're young, and you say stuff, and you do stuff, and the one thing about this job is we mature here, right? We come in at 21, 25, and we have no life experience, and then you screw up, and the old guy's like, "Don't do that, this guy," and you realize that you're maturing. You get married, we have kids on the job, and we grow up, and that's what makes this job so special, I think, versus any other. It's a way of life. And
one of the things that you kind of keep coming back to doing this podcast is guys with the long careers. You've made mistakes, and the thing is that
every day
everybody's making mistakes
every day,
and it's part of the process.
If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning, right? We learn from our mistakes. Those are our learning. That's the learning part of life. And one of the things I tell my officers is, I want you to make decisions, right? I have 12 officers that I work that are under me, plus my 2 battalions, and it's you're going to make mistakes, and it's okay. We're a team, so we're going to pick up the mistake, and we're going to keep moving forward, and then we'll learn from that mistake. We don't want.
Yeah, what's that? The lack of making a decision is a decision.
Right. If you don't make the decision, you're already wrong. So at least you got a 50-50 shot. That's better odds than you get in Vegas. So make a decision, and then we'll if something changes, we'll pick up that slack, and then we'll get through it. But you got to make a decision, and you can't be afraid of making a mistake, because you're going to learn so much from that mistake. And to think you're perfect and walking through, with rainbows and unicorns all over the place, you're going to screw up, and it's okay to screw up. And we're hard on each other, right? The firehouse is tough. You make a mistake, and that's okay. But yeah, making mistakes, you got to, but you got to also learn from them too. You got to, you're going to have to step up and be a man. And I guess, I don't know if you say that, but you got to be that person to step up and go, I screwed up.
Right.
What can we learn from it? And
Right.
and that's okay.
Yeah, I know we say it, like I know we always say like, oh, you're gonna screw up, you're gonna fuck up, like somebody's gonna make a mistake, and like I think we kind of brush over that a lot, but like everyone does make mistakes, and it's the guys or gals that don't realize that they've ever made a mistake or don't admit to making a mistake, that those are the ones that are dangerous, because again, they'll just do it over and over and over again.
Or the ones that don't engage, right? The ones that don't engage, afraid of making mistakes, or the ones that wear the no fear helmet sticker.
Right.
It's like, man, this job humbles you when you least expect it. It's going to humble
Just think
you.
about what you learned about pulling that cross lay with that, with fire blowing out.
The front doors, yeah.
I gotta tell you, to your guys' credit again, like in the 90s, I don't know that 2.5s were a go-to hose line, right? I mean,
Yeah, we
back
had
in the 90s,
we still
you
got
guys had
it's 150 foot. It's 150 foot off the rear. It's not a finished. It's a finished load, but it's attached to the rear discharge, so it's a rear pre-connect basically.
Right.
So now we run the 3 horseshoes, 300 feet in horseshoes with 200 flat loaded, and then we run another finished load. But that's all changed over the years. We used to have a skid, the old skid where you pull the 2-inch down and drop the bundles on top.
That's what I was gonna say. That's still our
That's
move.
old school.
Yeah, that's still
That
our
is
move,
old school.
actually.
It is old school. But it's so it's you make mistakes and you learn from them, and you got to own them. That's the other thing too. You can't push them off on somebody else, and everyone does it. Just
Well,
I'm
how do
sorry.
you guys? How does the rotation work with your medics and staff in the ambulances? Is it by seniority? Not everybody is a paramedic, right? And your ambulances are ALS.
Yep.
So
so
you
when I
got
do that,
guys trying to transition off of there. So
sometimes, yeah. But so it's simple by us. We have for years and years we didn't have a rotation. The truck 2 officer, before we went to battalions, the truck 2 officer, whoever that was, there's a lieutenant and 2 captains like every other fire department, I think, would do the roster or the list for the next month. So now the shift commander does that. But we never had a rotation. So like my first couple of years, I went from medic 1 to medic 4 to medic 5 to medic 1 to medic, and that was kind of picked up Kelly days. Just bouncing. And it was kind of, the officer kept me downtown on the truck when he could, and that kind of stuff. But we never had a true rotation. So over the last, I don't know how many years now, we've got a rotation. So if we're the 3 firemen in the house and we're all medics, some guys do 3-day rotations. So eventually you'd be on 3, 6, 9, and then you go from 12, 15, 18. I go from 21, 24, 27, and we kind of just rotate. So there's
to keep it fair.
keep it fair, and it's a longevity, right? We want medics to stay longer. We want to keep them fresh, and we want them to be cross trained, because we're asking you to do fire stuff on overtimes or time trades and that kind of stuff. So each and on our, and I can only speak for my shift, but we let the companies decide the rotations. So the company officer or the senior medic will turn in to one of their 2 battalions what the rotation for the month is. Well, for the year now, but they got it broken down. So if you want to do a month at a time, that's your choice. If you want to do every 3 days, it's your choice. You guys figure it out, give it to the battalions, we'll put it in the schedule, and the rotation is what the rotation is. So what that also does, if you're off on a Kelly or daily, and I'm the relief guy coming in, if you're on the engine that day, then that relief guy gets an engine day, because that's the spot he's taken. So, so even the relief guys sometimes will get engine and truck days, so they're not getting tied into.
He doesn't get an extra ambulance day.
And they don't, if they can choose to. Like one time, like some of the guys will come in and go, "Hey, I'm on the engine today, but do you want, you're senior, do you want to take the?" And they'll do that game. But I prefer that you stay in the rotation. But I let the officers take care of that. That's, I think the officers got to decide.
Was that how it was when you were coming on? Like,
no,
did you? Okay,
you just went to the ambulance.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you rotated.
And you were there till you got kicked off by a junior guy, then, right?
Yeah, I got assigned to Medic 1 in 2000, I think, or 2001, and that's what I was on, Medic 1 for the year.
Before that, you were just floating wherever you needed anything.
Yeah, most of the time it's to an ambulance,
Okay.
unless we were heavy, and then I would be on the truck.
And how were those first couple of years rolling through?
They were awesome.
Yeah,
It was the late 90s in Aurora, man.
Right.
We'd go, my partner was Norb Weber, and just a great old guy, man. It was like salt of the earth guy, right? He wore these old pull-up type boots, like they looked like almost like cowboy boots, but they were pull-up, and he wore his Aurora hat, and he had the safety goggles like from ComEd, and he'd be sitting there and tones would go off. He'd put his boots on. He'd get up, walk to the engine, never complained a day, he'd just put his, let's go. And then we'd get in the ambulance and he'd get to whoever we're picking up. He's like, listen, there's only a couple rules in this ambulance. There's me, then there's God, and then there's you. So whatever choice you want to make, go ahead and make it. And if you treated him with respect, he treated you with respect. And it was just,
it's awesome.
He's just a salty old guy. And he ended up making captain towards the end, and just a good officer. Nord Weber, just a great dude. Actually stood at my wedding. Yeah, good dude.
Yeah,
good dude. So I got stuck with him for a year.
Yeah.
Not stuck, but I
good
got
medic or
phenomenal.
Was he
phenomenal medic?
I can't tell you how, and probably for you more so than me, Vince. But I can't tell you how nice it is to hear like guys that are older that are up there and like just kept to doing the right thing as they got older. And like I mean, Vince is obviously a great guy too. But like, well, just thanks, you don't. I feel like it's more often than not you hear about the guy that's like, I've been on this ambulance for however long, and they're just like, I don't care, and just like they're over it. And like,
and there's guys like that everywhere
for sure. Yeah. For sure.
I don't think that's specific to the city.
No, not at all. But yeah, no, it's just awesome to hear like guys are still like in it.
He was in it.
Yeah,
and we have a position called senior medic. It's not a lieutenant rank, but it's the most senior paramedic. As they retire, the next senior gets it. But they're in charge of that ambulance, so it gives them some ownership and pride in
that's awesome.
Taking care of that box and doing what they're supposed to do. And they're in charge of the reports for all 3 shifts. And most of them are on the same shift with the captain, so that they have a hammer if they need it.
Right.
I had a great senior when I was a captain at 3s. I had a great senior medic, Rick Torres. Him and I came on together, and that. If there was anybody that I would want working on me at any time, if I was jammed up, that's that guy, man. He's that guy. And I think that would probably be standard. If you asked any Aurora fireman who you'd want, I would say that.
Across the board, they're saying no.
I think they would say Rick Torres. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And he runs a tight ship, good senior man. He is the epitome of what a barn boss is. Just ran my help. And we had a great work relationship. He as a captain, he ran the inside and I ran the outside, and it was just solid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have to bid out if you want to get on a truck or an engine and you're on the ambulance, or do you have to wait for that spot to open up and by seniority?
No bidding, no seniority. It's fantasy fireman by the deputy.
Oh, I'll tell you, I've been pushing for the fantasy fireman for
he gets
the snake draft. I've been pushing for the snake draft for a while.
Wow, so if you're on the ambulance, you have no say in when or if
you can put a transfer in. You can put a transfer request in, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it. Yeah, so you
could be the barn boss.
Well, I mean,
and you have no say. It sounds
that's something to be said, because you got to be solid on that ambulance, and you have to be a solid paramedic because you're.
But not
build a
solid enough for other 2 shifts here about you. Like, to be fair.
I mean, that's an interesting dynamic. Like, you want to be good enough so that if there's a spot that opens up on a truck or an engine, that they're going to be like, yeah, this guy's going to be good. But
but not good enough where the other guys are hearing about it too. Yeah.
Well, like with your world, right, Vince, it's transfer orders, right? You get a list of what's out there, and then you put in your 3 choices, right? If I understand it right.
Yeah.
For us, it's if you want off, you put your transfer request in. The deputy chief will put out an email saying all transfers in by October 1st, and then our transfer orders come out. They got to come out by the end of November, last day of November by contract for December vacation picks. So you can put in, and I'm sure I've never done it, but I'm sure there's people working the system a little bit, that.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure, but I think our department does a really good job of dividing people where they need to be and getting it balanced, right? Like level in the sea water.
Right.
I think they do a good job with that. So,
going back, you spent some time on the ambulance. Anything memorable from those first couple of years?
A lot of gunshots.
Jumping out.
Yeah. A lot of gunshots.
It was rough.
It was.
You guys have a big gang problem out there, right?
We did. So in the 90s, we were the highest murder rate per capita in the country. Aurora was. And I remember my dad calling me. He was like, "Where are you going?" And I go, "Aurora, you know what's wrong out there?" I go, "Pop, I don't know what's
That's the only place that's worse than where I'm at right now.
So I did some research, and we were the highest murder rate per capita. So a lot of Latin King problems out there at the time, and the Deuces, and there's still some there, but they came in, the feds came in with the state, and they called it cutting the head off the snake or some operation where
Really hammered down over there.
yeah, cleaned it all up, and it's gotten better over the years, and it's turned into a really, really well-run town. We had some good mayors. Our mayor right now is phenomenal. He loves public safety.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a special place. I can't, I keep going back to it, and I feel like I'm a broken record, but Aurora is just, I mean, they got it dialed in. It's fun. It's, is there problems? Sure. But they're relative, right, to everything. So those first years, we just, you'd go out and Norby, my partner Weber, would call it porch drinking. Let's go see who's out. And we'd drive the neighborhood or the district, seeing how many people were on the porch, because we knew the higher the porch drinking, the more gunshots we'd go to.
Yeah.
Well, in the city, that's called alley patrol.
There you go. So we all got it, right? And,
Yeah.
and that's what we did. And
Did I ever tell you about mine? I think I used to tell you
You
about
went
it.
on alley patrol during your ride?
I called it preventative maintenance. So
Just
I don't know.
Round up the regulars?
Yeah, we might have to cut. Yeah. Like we might have to cut this one. But yeah, that was like my move. It would be like me and Shawnee. Like I'd be like, all right, like I forgot what it was. I'd be like, all right, like I got some going on tomorrow morning, or I've got a, it's Christmas night. It'd be nice to sleep tonight. And like we'd do our runs, and like we'd see where everyone was at, all the regulars, and be like, all right, like, hey Tim, you want a meal tonight? Like, oh yeah. All right, hop in the ambulance and drop him off at the hospital. And so we knew we weren't going to get him at 3 a.m. We hammered out at 9 in the afternoon.
Because he was going no matter what.
Proactive healthcare.
Exactly. He was going at some point within 27 hours. So like I just, acted up a little bit. Yeah. It was really the first mobile integrated healthcare, if we think about it.
Absolutely. You're ahead of your time. You were well ahead of your time.
I say it, but Vince doesn't believe me. So not too much opportunity. I got to imagine for actually working apparatus or working a fire apparatus during that time.
Oh, no,
but you were working as a fireman.
So back then it was kind of, and as Chuck put it, was kind of like the Old West, where you'd pull up on the ambulance and we'd be getting dressed in the back of it, getting our turnouts on, and we leave our gear on the back on the step up, the side door step, and one guy'd be getting dressed, and you'd be
wasn't that
a couple times we pulled lines before the engine stopped.
I was gonna say that was
Not
Chuck.
all the
I remember him saying
not a lot.
He's like, they did not like that at all.
No. And what was cool is like you'd get work, right? Because you really had nobody as a medic. You had no officer, right? So you were kind of like
You're a freelancer.
Huge freelancer. And we would, then
Would you guys keep tools on the ambulance?
we did until one of the chiefs said no more tools on the ambulance.
You're just encouraging.
So we did a lot of work as medics. It was fun, and then what was kind of nice is like at the end when striking the box and. We get the medic back in service. Yeah, we got to go. And you just take up.
Oh, nice. That's the move. That's the move, Vince.
Well, when it's time to roll hose?
Yeah, we got to get you back in service. Okay.
Dude,
there's only 6 of us. There's only 6 ambulances.
That's like getting a run right at time to do the dishes.
Oh, yeah. Or being a fire investigator. That's the, so what's like the actual move when you would pull in as an ambulance guy? Like the official move would probably be like you pull into the fire, like you report to the engine officer at that point or something like that. And you guys link up with them.
Our SOPs have changed over the years, but back then there was nothing. Now the first due
back then there was
but now the first due ambulance is EMS or RIT is the first. They start RIT. They're
nice.
And then the second ambulance in on the work and fire response is actual medics. They stay dressed down. They wear their vests and
pull up,
for us,
pull a stretcher.
So we've gotten a lot better with that, and it's been going on for a while. So
it's, like, and going back to the EMS thing, I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about that too, but like, it's just amazing how, again, like we, as a fire service, we've done a great job of like adopting paramedics and like making EMS a part of our job to sustain our job. And it's now at a point where I'd say probably on average EMS is 80% of the fire service.
Oh,
and
by easy.
Right. Yeah. And then like, you get situations like this where it's like, we'll throw the idiots on there. Like, but yeah, no, that's awesome. The respect you guys put on it. So running through those, again, you had some good times on there.
Great times
after
on
that. Were
I mean,
you?
think about the stories in your career, right? You think about the stories you tell. You know, you're like, we're sitting at the table. Yeah, I had this one call where the guy put this in this part of his body, or this happened, or this. You're not talking about stretching lines down hallways. I mean, those are stories, but the funny stories are when you inject a human element into the story, right? And that comes from the EMS side. That comes from being on the ambulance. And I tell the young guys, it's like, you're going to remember your EMS world a lot more than the fires. You're going to remember your fires, but the stuff that you see on the ambulance, especially in a town like ours with all the different demographics and people and
I was saying,
inserts,
you guys are all over the place.
We're all over the place. We're a big city, you know, and we're the second largest city now in the state. So
we
have
really?
a lot, population wise, and you know, you see a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Huh. So you're I guess we'll say you're kind of wrapping your time almost on the ambulance, but like you're definitely not spending as much time on the ambulance after a couple of years. And do you get like assigned to a
No, so I was on Medic 1. I was on Medic 1, and I decided to give up my card, like my Medic card.
Oh, which is So like you at that point you would still have your paramedic license, but like you give up your ability to act as a gotcha.
Yeah, Aurora wasn't paying me, so I decided that I wanted. This is about 6 years into my career. I said, okay,
it's a good run.
It was a great run. I had a lot of fun, but I'm starting to think about promotion, longevity. Want to do some fire stuff. Want to learn the engine stuff. So I turned in my card and went to Engine 4. Which is near East Side, and great engine. Had a great boss at the time. And the medic that I told you about, Rick Torres, was there. He wasn't a senior medic at the time, but he was on the ambulance. And I remember the first day I walked in, he goes, "Hey, you still a medic?" And I go, No, you don't give it up till next shift. And I'm like, "Nah, I'm pretty much not a medic, and I'm going to ride the engine. You're going to stay on the ambulance." And it started the ball bust.
The rivalry.
The rivalry. He's like, "You know what? I don't want you here. Nobody wants you here. I'm not talking to you." And I'm like, "You'll get over it, buddy. It'll be fine," you know. And so I went to Engine 4 as a fireman. Spent 2 years there as a fireman. Then got transferred out to Engine 9. Spent a year out there, and then went to Truck 11.
How were those couple years as engine?
Engine 4 was great. We did a lot of good work. It was a busy time. We went to some good work with the crews, and had Kevin Molitor, Ricky Torres. We were in McHugh was our lieutenant, Mikey McHugh, and it was we went to some work. It was fun.
Any fires jumping out with those guys that you can think of, or anything?
Yeah, we had a bungalow, probably 25 by. It was deep. It's probably like 70, and heavy fire in the rear, moving its way to the front door, and just a solid move by the lieutenant. He's like, "You grab that line, I'm going to grab this line, and we're going to cut it off in the front and the back." And just like as a young fireman, you know, you're like, "Holy shit, you know, I'm on a line by myself, and we're doing this, and we're winning." And so it was just really solid work, you know, learning from that, you know, and he felt pretty good. You know, you made a win, you had to stop. It's like, "Oh, all right, we're doing it right," you know. So that was probably that one. Jumps out at me the most at Fours was the double line where they just we were both, he was on one line, I was on the other. Just hammering down. Yeah, it was cool, you know. And that lasted, you know, in my head, it was probably a week of a firefight, you know.
Right.
It was probably like 4 minutes, you know, but in my mind, it was long. You know, we were in it. We were in it.
And my buddy was, I looked over at him, winked, and I'm like,
it's that whole 30 seconds lasted a month, you know. But it felt cool. Yeah. But it was good. And I think Kevin was pumping at the time, so he was engineering, so.
Nice. I was just saying, anything else you guys jumping out with that time there on the engine?
You like the engine or the truck better? You're on the truck now.
Say, man. No, he's not on.
No, I'm in.
Or I mean, before you went to
when I got promoted, I got off the truck.
Yeah.
When I made lieutenant.
Nobody's listening. You can say it.
Yeah, no one really listens to this. That's
Nobody
what Kalaga told me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, yeah, you know Kalaga's view of truck versus engine,
and I got
he still doesn't know why the engines show up to fires.
And the man says,
I like them both. I know that, but if I had to be on one truck or one, it'd be the truck. But it has to be a true truck, right? It has to be a truck. It can't be one with the little pump thing. You got to make a decision who you are. But if we're gonna do true truck work, like searching above, opening roofs, that kind of stuff, I want to be on the truck.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, but if we're gonna lean to putting hose on there, I'm gonna go back to the engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do like busting Kalaga's balls and telling him, you know why truck guys put holes in the roof, right? And see the real fireman working. So
I like that one. That's cool. Steve's gonna like that one too.
so
Oh God. Well, here. I mean, I guess we're kind of getting into promotion. Change it up. Can take a quick minute.
Yeah, we'll take a quick minute, but Brian also wanted us to let
boy.
you know that your buggy isn't blue, though, right?
no, my buggy's not blue. It's white.
Okay.
What about the radio strap?
It is not blue. It's black.
Oh, what a jerk story!
So
This guy, huh?
we'll after the break, when we get there, I'll explain to you how and what that means.
That's why Vince said it, because he wants you to prepare a statement to hammer down Brian. Because
Well, you know,
I mean, I've got no problem with Brian, but clearly you do. So
yeah, we're at each other's throats all the time. So
All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, you know what? We're just going to talk a minute about this awesome beer we've been drinking from Illuminate Brew Works. Right now, I'm drinking Trust, and this thing it's just a really good lager. We're kind of running the gauntlet here. We got some awesome beer here, so we're just running through each one of them. Vince, you tried that Orange Sunshine too, right?
Orange Sunshine is my new favorite summer beer.
Yeah.
Thanks to Brian at Illuminated Brew Works. If you guys are looking for an amazing craft beer, and I'm not a big craft beer guy, and I was a little hesitant, and then when we started popping these things open, it was like Christmas.
Yeah, we've been firing pretty good on these things.
We've been going through these like crazy.
Bar Chicago's Bravest Stories is doing all right over here.
Right. Well, the Illuminated Brew Works beer has saved us from drinking all the whiskey that we have here, because we've been drinking more beer than we have whiskey.
Might not even be whiskey guys anymore.
Yeah.
And that Creeper one was pretty good too, right? Vince,
Creeper was good.
And we're fresh out of astronaut juice.
Yeah, if we had astronaut juice, that is my top one from these guys. If you're looking for an amazing craft beer, you can find it at Binny's Norwood Park Wine and Spirits, Beer Temple, which is right down the street here from the studio. So if you're picking up some Illuminated Brew Works at Beer Temple, stop in, have a drink with us. Bottle and cans, Capone's, Toto's, and Rayans, Rayans.
Yeah, these are all bars they're selling it, and you guys would notice it for sure once you walk in, because they've got some really cool artwork on each of their cans. So again, just look for the eye-popping artwork that you're going to see, and they'll kind of lead you over it. Again, this is Illuminated Brew Works. Make sure to check out anything that they've made so far, because everything I've tried has been awesome.
Oh, it's really good. If you go to that place, Wine Styles, at 6182 Northwest Highway, you can pick it up. And coincidentally, that is right next door to where the new brew pub is going to be. Illuminated Brew Works is opening up a brew pub at 6186 Northwest Highway. It's going to be amazing. The beer is amazing, and we are also asked to mention that the new Brony is coming back out. It's a double hop IPA. So for you IPA guys, the Brony is coming back. But the beers that he has in stock right now are amazing. Illuminated Brew Works, thanks Brian again for keeping us in beer here. And when our guests come in and stuff like that, we give it to them as well. And we've heard nothing but great things from our guests who've walked out of here with a 4-pack of Illuminated Brew Works.
Thanks, guys. Again, make sure to check them out, Illuminated Brew Works. The opinions and views are that of Chicago's Bravest Stories podcast and their guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any municipal governments, fire protection districts, fire departments, EMS, or law enforcement organizations.